Murmurs of an ancient prophecy, long buried in the depths of forgotten history, have suddenly emerged once more, sending shivers down the spines of those who dare to listen. The name Sister Agnes Sasagawa may not be widely recognized by everyone, but for those who have studied her remarkable experiences, recent developments have left them both awestruck and uneasy. Many of her astonishing revelations, once dismissed as distant warnings, now appear to be unfolding before our very eyes in ways few could have imagined. The significance of her visions, spoken decades ago, may be far greater than previously understood. If these foretellings are indeed coming to pass, as many suspect, then the world could be standing on the precipice of an event so monumental that it has the potential to reshape the course of history. What lies ahead remains a mystery. No one can predict with certainty what the next months or years will bring. However, for those who are familiar with the remarkable story of Sister Agnes, the signs appearing in the world today bear an eerie resemblance to the ones she described so long ago. Her warnings were not vague messages lost in the pages of history, they were specific, urgent, and deeply unsettling. The possibility that we are witnessing the prelude to something extraordinary is becoming more difficult to ignore. Decades ago, Sister Agnes spoke of a revelation that could change everything, a prophetic message that, if true, would alter humanity's perception of faith, existence, and divine intervention itself. She was not just another figure lost in religious texts. She was a woman whose extraordinary encounters drew attention from people across the globe. Born and raised in Japan, she was a devoted Catholic nun who dedicated her life to prayer, reflection, and service. But her life took an unexpected turn in the 1970s when she experienced supernatural encounters that could not be easily explained away. It was in the quiet city of Akita, within the peaceful walls of a convent, that Sister Agnes bore witness to a series of inexplicable events. She claimed that the Virgin Mary appeared to her, delivering urgent messages that would shake the faith of many and ignite discussions within religious communities worldwide. But what made her story even more astounding was not just the messages she received, it was the presence of a mysterious statue housed within the convent itself. Unlike any ordinary religious artifact, this particular statue was at the center of one of the most baffling phenomena ever documented. The statue was not merely a symbol of devotion. It exhibited signs that defied logic, leaving even skeptics at a loss for explanation. Those who witnessed it firsthand described events so extraordinary that they were left speechless. The most astonishing of these occurrences was the claim that the statue wept not just once or twice, but a staggering 101 times. These inexplicable manifestations, meticulously documented and observed by numerous individuals, became one of the most well-known religious phenomena ever recorded. The messages associated with these supernatural events, which first began in 1975, carried dire warnings not just for the Catholic Church, but for the entire world. To fully grasp the significance of these visions, we must take a deeper look into the life of Sister Agnes herself. Who was this woman who experienced such profound revelations? What led her down this extraordinary path? Her story is one of unwavering faith and perseverance, a journey marked by hardship, sacrifice, and ultimately divine purpose. Born on May 28, 1931 in Japan, Sister Agnes's life was not one of ease or privilege. From the very beginning, she was met with immense physical challenges. Her health was fragile, and she suffered from serious medical conditions that made daily life difficult. Yet, despite her struggles, she never allowed adversity to dictate her future. From a young age, she demonstrated a strength of spirit that few could match, a resilience that would eventually lead her to embark on a path of profound faith. For those who believe in the power of faith, in miracles, and in the extraordinary ways in which divine intervention can shape lives, consider joining us on this journey by subscribing to the channel. Here, we delve deep into remarkable stories of faith, unexplained phenomena, and historical events that continue to captivate minds across the world. At the age of just 19, Sister Agnes endured a life-altering medical crisis that would define much of her early adulthood. A routine appendectomy, a common surgical procedure, took a tragic turn when an error during the operation caused irreversible damage to her central nervous system. The result was devastating. She was left paralyzed, confined to a bed for an agonizing 16 years. For more than a decade and a half, she remained trapped in a body that no longer responded to her will, undergoing multiple hospitalizations and surgeries that seemed only to reinforce the hopelessness of her condition. But fate had something extraordinary in store for her. Just when it seemed as though all hope had faded, an unexpected encounter changed everything. While receiving treatment at a medical facility in Myoko, Nagata, she met a nurse known as Miss W. This woman was no ordinary caregiver. She was a person of deep faith, a devout Catholic whose unwavering belief in the power of prayer and divine healing would introduce Agnes to a world she had never before explored. Through Miss W's guidance, Agnes was introduced to Christianity, a faith that would become the foundation of her new life. Something awakened within her, a profound realization that there was a greater purpose to her suffering. Though her parents initially resisted the idea of her devoting herself entirely to religious life, especially given her fragile health, they eventually came to accept her choice. In 1969, she formally joined the Congregation of the Sisters of the Immaculate Heart of Mary in Nagasaki, a decision that solidified her commitment to a life of faith and service. Her spiritual journey, however, did not stop there. She later became a part of the Handmaids of the Eucharist, a religious community that allowed her to embrace a life of deep contemplation while still remaining engaged with the world around her. Yet, even as she grew in faith, she continued to face tremendous challenges. In early 1973, another devastating blow struck. She suddenly lost her hearing, plunging her into near-total silence. Medical specialists diagnosed her with progressive hearing loss, offering little hope for recovery. Once again, however, Sister Agnes refused to let her hardships define her. She adapted to her new reality, learning to read lips and communicate in ways that allowed her to remain connected to her faith and those around her. But it was in 1974 that something truly extraordinary happened, an event that would forever alter the course of her life. While in deep prayer during Eucharistic adoration one morning, she experienced something that defied all medical explanation. A divine presence appeared before her, an angel who spoke words that would challenge everything she had been told by doctors. The angel delivered a message. Her hearing would return, though only for a short time. In the months that followed, between August and October of that year, her hearing miraculously did return, just as foretold. Though temporary, this event confirmed something deep within her soul. Her belief in the supernatural was stronger than ever. But the miraculous occurrences did not end there. On March 25, 1982, during the Feast of the Annunciation, another astonishing event took place. The same angel appeared to her again, proclaiming that through the intercession of the Virgin Mary, her hearing would be permanently restored. And once again, the prophecy was fulfilled. This moment became one of the defining milestones of her life, a living testimony to the power of faith and divine intervention. The events surrounding Sister Agnes were not limited to her personal experiences. They extended far beyond, affecting those who came into contact with her story. One of the most striking examples involved a woman named Miss Teresa Chun from Korea, who had been diagnosed with terminal brain cancer and left in a vegetative state. In 1983, a group of Korean pilgrims visited the convent where Sister Agnes resided, and what followed left doctors in complete disbelief. Through what many believe was the intercession of Our Lady of Akita, Miss Chun was miraculously healed. These events are just the beginning of a story that continues to captivate believers and skeptics alike. What happened in Akita was more than just a series of isolated incidents. It was something that defied the natural order, leaving behind mysteries that still challenge human understanding to this day. The messages bestowed upon Sister Agnes were not mere words. They carried a weight so profound that they would shape the course of her life forever. These divine revelations were not only personal, but held spiritual significance that connected her to other visionaries across history. Many of those who came before her saints, mystics, and holy figures had also received sacred messages warning of events that would one day unfold. She was now part of this sacred lineage, a chosen vessel through whom these urgent messages were to be conveyed to the world. Then, on June 28th, something extraordinary took place, an event so shocking that it would leave both believers and skeptics stunned. As she knelt in prayer, immersed in deep spiritual reflection, a sudden, searing pain shot through her left hand and arm. The intensity of the sensation was overwhelming, as if an unseen force was carving something directly into her flesh. She looked down and saw a mark forming a cross-shaped wound that began to bleed, as though she had been physically pierced by an invisible force. But what was even more astounding was that she was not the only one affected. At that very moment, the wooden statue of the Virgin Mary, which stood in the chapel where she prayed daily, began to manifest the same inexplicable phenomenon. Before the eyes of those present, the statue appeared to bleed from the same area, as if mirroring the pain that Sister Agnes had just endured. Those who witnessed this occurrence were left in absolute awe. There was no logical explanation, no hidden mechanism, no deception. It was an event beyond human understanding. Yet, this was only the beginning. The supernatural occurrences surrounding Sister Agnes did not cease with this miraculous event. They continued, intensifying in both frequency and magnitude. On the night of August 3, 1973, while the world outside remained in slumber, Sister Agnes was awakened by a presence unlike any other. Standing before her was her guardian angel, radiating a divine brilliance. But this was not merely a visitation, it was a warning. The angel urged her to rise immediately, preparing her for what was about to unfold. There was urgency in the message, an unmistakable sense that something significant was drawing near. The following morning, as she made her way to the chapel for prayer, an inexplicable and unsettling force suddenly obstructed her path. It was not a physical barrier, yet she felt a presence, something dark, something intent on stopping her from fulfilling her divine purpose. This was not merely a test of faith, it was an attack. To Sister Agnes, this was undeniable proof that forces beyond human comprehension were at play. It was as if an unseen darkness sought to silence her, to prevent her from stepping into her role as a messenger of the divine. Then came the most astonishing event yet. On September 29, 1973, during the sacred hours of afternoon prayer, something beyond belief took place. The same wooden statue of the Virgin Mary that had once bled now began to sweat profusely. But this was not ordinary perspiration. What appeared on its surface was not mere moisture, but a mysterious, fragrant oil. Those who were present described the scent as something heavenly, unlike any earthly fragrance they had encountered before. The statue itself seemed to radiate a divine presence, and the air in the chapel was filled with an inexplicable sense of awe. And then, the unthinkable happened. On January 4, 1975, the wooden statue of the Virgin Mary began to shed tears. This was not metaphorical or symbolic, actual, physical tears flowed from its eyes, witnessed by numerous individuals. Scientists and religious authorities alike sought to investigate the phenomenon, determined to uncover the truth behind what was happening. Samples of the tears were collected and subjected to rigorous analysis. The results were nothing short of astounding. The fluid was confirmed to be human tears. This was no illusion, no fabrication. What had occurred was real, and it sent shockwaves through the religious community and beyond. The events surrounding Sister Agnes were no longer just matters of faith, they had crossed into the realm of scientific inquiry, defying explanation at every turn. But these miraculous occurrences did not exist in isolation. They were accompanied by something even more powerful, the healing of a woman whose condition had been declared medically irreversible. Following the astonishing events that took place in Sister Agnes's convent, something beyond human comprehension transpired once again. A woman by the name of Miss Teresa Chun, who had been in a vegetative state due to terminal brain cancer, experienced what can only be described as an astounding recovery. Medical professionals were left in disbelief. Imaging tests conducted both before and after the incident revealed a transformation that defied all scientific reasoning. What had once been a dire, hopeless prognosis had suddenly reversed itself in a way that no doctor could explain. Those who had witnessed it firsthand saw not just a remarkable healing, but what many would call a divine intervention. These were not isolated events. They were part of a much larger tapestry, one that connected Sister Agnes's experiences with something far greater than herself. Her encounters with the Virgin Mary in 1973 were not merely personal visions. They were accompanied by extraordinary signs and occurrences that left lasting impressions on all who learned of them. But what made them even more profound was the fact that they were accompanied by three divine messages that were not just meant to strengthen her own faith, but to send ripples throughout the Catholic world. To truly understand the significance of these messages, it is essential to examine how they were delivered. Each revelation unfolded under extraordinary circumstances within the walls of a humble chapel in Akita, Japan. Though the setting was modest and unassuming, this sacred space became the site of encounters that bridged the gap between the earthly and the divine. And it was not only Sister Agnes who bore witness to these extraordinary moments. Her fellow sisters, the women who lived and prayed alongside her, also felt the weight of what was taking place. The first of these divine encounters occurred on July 6, 1973. It began as an ordinary day prayer, reflection, devotion. But as Sister Agnes knelt in meditation, she felt an inexplicable shift in the atmosphere. The air became heavy, charged with something indescribable. And then it happened: the wooden statue of the Virgin Mary, carved from a single piece of cator tree wood, began to glow with an ethereal radiance. This was not a mere reflection of light. It was a supernatural illumination, a brilliance that emanated from within the statue itself. It was as though the divine presence had made itself known in a form that could not be ignored. During this first message, the Virgin Mary acknowledged the suffering of Sister Agnes. She recognized the stigmata, the wounds that had appeared on her body, mirroring those of Christ. She also acknowledged her deafness, a physical affliction that had further isolated her from the world. But these were not merely burdens. They were spiritual signs guiding her toward a greater purpose. The Virgin instructed her to devote herself to a special prayer, one that would serve as both a means of healing and an act of intercession. This was not only for her own sake, but for the world to strengthen devotion to the Eucharist and to pray for the Church and its leaders in times of trial. The astonishing events unfolding in Akita could not be ignored by the Catholic Church. Soon, a formal investigation into Sister Agnes's experiences was launched. The focus was not just on the messages she received, but on the miraculous phenomena that surrounded her: the statue that bled, wept, and emitted a sacred fragrance. The local ecclesiastical authorities recognized that something profound was happening and sought to uncover the truth. By 1975, Bishop John Shujiro Ito of the Diocese of Niigata took a particular interest in the case. Intrigued by the overwhelming testimonies and the undeniable evidence, he sought guidance from the Vatican, specifically from the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith. At the time, this congregation was the highest authority within the Church on matters of supernatural occurrences. As public curiosity grew and reports continued to spread, the Vatican recommended that Bishop Ito personally oversee the investigation. By 1976, a commission had been formed to study the phenomenon in depth. But despite their extensive research, the investigators found themselves unable to reach a definitive conclusion. What had taken place in Akita was beyond human comprehension, and the messages left behind were warnings of something yet to come. Without clear, undeniable proof of supernatural origin, the Catholic Church found itself at a crossroads regarding the astonishing events unfolding in Akita. The occurrences were remarkable, the testimonies were compelling, yet the absence of definitive evidence left the case in an unresolved state. Church authorities faced a dilemma. Were these events truly divine manifestations, or could there be other explanations? Many questions remained unanswered, and without a formal confirmation from the highest levels of the Church, skepticism lingered among some religious leaders. Despite this uncertainty, one man remained steadfast in his pursuit of the truth: Bishop John Shijiro Ito, the leader of the Diocese of Niigata, who had been deeply involved in the investigation from the beginning. Unlike those who hesitated to take a definitive stance, Bishop Ito was not willing to let these miraculous events fade into obscurity. He believed that what had transpired in Akita deserved a thorough and fair examination, and he was determined to find answers. Encouraged by the continuation of supernatural signs in the small convent, Bishop Ito pressed forward with further investigations. By 1981, new pieces of evidence had come to light, findings that strengthened the claims that these occurrences were indeed of divine origin. He meticulously compiled every report, testimony, and scientific analysis available, assembling an extensive dossier that documented the full scope of what had transpired in Akita. This collection of evidence was submitted to the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith, the Vatican's highest authority responsible for reviewing cases of alleged supernatural phenomena. However, despite his efforts, the Vatican remained hesitant. The officials who reviewed the dossier deemed the available evidence inconclusive. Without a firm and undeniable confirmation of divine intervention, they refrained from launching another full-scale investigation. As a result, the case remained in a state of uncertainty, not condemned, but not officially recognized either. But Bishop Ito was not the kind of man to accept silence as an answer. He was convinced that something extraordinary had taken place, and he was unwilling to let the matter be dismissed due to bureaucratic caution. In 1982, he suggested that the Vatican's previous assessment may have been influenced by misunderstandings or an incomplete evaluation of the evidence. Determined to clear up any confusion, he took the extraordinary step of personally traveling to Rome in 1983. There, he sought direct meetings with key members of the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith, hoping to present his findings in person. His persistence paid off. After nearly a decade of thorough study and investigation, Bishop Ito made a historic declaration in 1984. Taking full responsibility as the bishop overseeing the Akita events, he formally recognized the supernatural nature of the occurrences. He granted official permission for the veneration of Our Lady of Akita within his diocese. This was a monumental step, as it was one of the few instances where a modern bishop took such a decisive stance on an apparition without a direct Vatican ruling. However, his recognition came with an important clarification. He emphasized that the revelations given to Sister Agnes were private revelations, meaning that they did not hold the same weight as public revelations that form the foundation of Catholic doctrine. This distinction was crucial, as it reinforced the idea that believers were free to accept these events, but they were not mandatory articles of faith like those found in Scripture or official church teachings. This cautious approach reflected Bishop Ito's deep respect for church hierarchy and the rigorous process required to verify supernatural claims. A major turning point in the case arrived in June 1988. By this time, Bishop Ito had retired, but his commitment to uncovering the truth remained as strong as ever. His investigation had already left a significant impact on those who followed the case, but he was still seeking higher validation. During a private meeting with Cardinal Joseph Ratzinger, who would later become Pope Benedict XVI, Bishop Ito once again presented his findings. He laid out everything: the visions, the miraculous healings, the supernatural occurrences surrounding the Virgin Mary's statue, and the theological significance of the messages received by Sister Agnes. This meeting led to a pivotal moment. Cardinal Ratzinger, after reviewing the details, gave verbal approval to Bishop Ito's 1984 statement, effectively endorsing his decision to recognize the Akita events as supernatural. While this was an incredibly significant development, the Vatican still chose to remain officially silent on the matter. There was no public declaration, no formal decree issued from the Holy See. The case remained in a unique position recognized locally, but not yet universally accepted by the Church as a whole. Even with the recognition of the Akita events within Japan, controversy continued to grow. The case stirred ongoing debate among high-ranking Catholic officials, with different leaders holding conflicting views. Some saw Akita as a powerful confirmation of divine intervention, while others urged for greater scrutiny before drawing conclusions. In 1990, a particularly divisive moment occurred when Archbishop Peter Seiichi Shiryanagi of Tokyo, who also served as the president of the Catholic Bishops' Conference of Japan, made a public statement that cast doubt on the apparitions. In an interview with the Italian magazine Trenta Giorni, he openly expressed skepticism, downplaying the significance of what had taken place in Akita. His remarks suggested that these events should not be regarded with the same level of seriousness that many had given them. His statement marked a shift in the perspective of Japan's Catholic leadership. While Bishop Ito had been a strong proponent of recognizing Akita as supernatural, Archbishop Shiryanagi's skepticism highlighted a growing divide within the Church. The differing opinions revealed a deeper struggle, one that has often emerged when dealing with supernatural claims. Recognizing an apparition requires more than just personal belief. It demands rigorous theological and doctrinal examination. This process ensures that any alleged divine messages align with Catholic teachings and that no external factors, such as misinterpretation or psychological influences, are at play. The skepticism voiced by high-ranking officials only fueled further debate within the Catholic community. It emphasized the ongoing struggle between faith and rational inquiry when investigating supernatural occurrences. While many believers felt the evidence was undeniable, others insisted on additional studies and further analysis before reaching any firm conclusions. This tension reflects a broader challenge faced by the Catholic Church when dealing with claims of divine intervention. Throughout history, Church authorities have carefully navigated these discussions, balancing spiritual belief with logical examination. Every reported apparition must undergo extensive scrutiny, ensuring that faith and reason are in harmony before an official ruling is made. For decades, the Vatican has approached the Akita apparitions with caution. Despite thorough investigations, no final verdict has ever been issued. This lack of an official ruling has left the case in a unique state of ambiguity within Catholic doctrine. It is neither fully accepted nor outright dismissed. Instead, it exists in a realm where believers are free to venerate Our Lady of Akita, but the Church has yet to declare a definitive stance. Yet, even without a formal Vatican endorsement, Bishop Ito's recognition of the apparitions provided a powerful affirmation for the faithful. His approval brought legitimacy to the extraordinary events that had taken place in Akita, offering comfort to those who believed in the supernatural nature of the visions. For the people of Akita and beyond, the story of Sister Agnes Sasagawa remains one of deep mystery and profound faith. Even now, her experiences continue to captivate believers, drawing them into a story of devotion, perseverance, and divine revelation. Whether viewed as a genuine manifestation of the divine or an unexplained enigma, one truth remains. The events of Akita have left a permanent mark on the world of faith, inspiring countless individuals to seek deeper understanding in their spiritual journey. But was this truly the end of the story? Or could there be even more revelations yet to be uncovered? The search for truth continues. The impact of the Akita apparitions has not faded with time. Instead, they continue to spark reflection, prayer, and debate among the faithful. Many still wonder, was this a message specifically meant for our generation? Though the Vatican has never issued a universal declaration officially recognizing the events surrounding the apparitions of Our Lady of Akita, the approval granted by Bishop John Shijiro Ito remains unchallenged to this day. According to canon law, a bishop has legitimate authority over his diocese, meaning that his formal recognition of the apparitions within the Diocese of Niigata stands as a valid and authoritative declaration. This has allowed believers in Japan and beyond to freely accept and incorporate the messages of Our Lady of Akita into their spiritual lives. Despite the lack of an official decree from Rome, this recognition has endured for decades, offering guidance, hope, and a sense of divine presence to those who have embraced these revelations. The messages given to Sister Agnes Sasagawa were not ordinary words, they were profound warnings and urgent spiritual calls to action. The first message, delivered to her by the Virgin Mary, emphasized a crucial lesson: the immense power of prayer, particularly through the Rosary, and the necessity of acts of reparation. Mary revealed that these sacred practices could lessen the weight of sin upon the world, offering healing and redemption to those who sought forgiveness. She urged believers to dedicate themselves to sincere devotion, as this would play a crucial role in repairing the damage caused by human transgressions. However, as time passed, the messages took on an even more urgent and sorrowful tone. On August 3, 1973, Sister Agnes received the second message, a revelation that carried a sense of deep sorrow and grave urgency. The Virgin Mary expressed immense grief over the state of humanity, lamenting that the sins of the world had caused great suffering to God. She spoke of the pain and sorrow that sin inflicts upon Christ, pleading with souls to console him and seek to appease the divine wrath before it was too late. But this was not merely a call for repentance, it came with a dire warning. The Virgin Mary revealed that if humanity refused to turn away from its sinful ways, a great chastisement would befall the world. This divine judgment, she warned, would not distinguish between the righteous and the wicked. It would affect all people, regardless of their standing. The weight of this prophecy was immense, and Sister Agnes was commanded to deliver the message to her superiors, ensuring that it was taken with the seriousness it deserved. However, perhaps the most chilling revelation came next. Mary foretold that the forces of darkness would infiltrate the very heart of the Church itself. This was a stunning prophecy, one that suggested not only global turmoil, but a crisis of faith and leadership within the Church. She warned of internal divisions that would shake the Church's foundations, causing confusion, deception, and spiritual decline among its own ranks. This message hinted at a time when even those entrusted with guiding the faithful would struggle against the encroaching shadows of doubt and discord. Then, on October 13, 1973, a date of great significance, the anniversary of the miracle of the sun in Fatima, the Virgin Mary delivered her final and most terrifying message. She spoke of an unimaginable catastrophe, a fire that would descend from the heavens, bringing devastation on a scale unlike anything humanity had ever witnessed before. This divine judgment, she declared, would be even more severe than the great flood in the time of Noah. The survivors of this impending calamity, she warned, would be so overwhelmed with despair that they would long for death rather than endure the suffering that remained. Yet, even in the face of such a foreboding prophecy, Mary did not leave the world without hope. She revealed that a path to salvation still existed, even amid the coming trials. The Rosary, she declared, along with the sacred sign left by Christ, would be the only means of protection against the approaching judgment. Once again, she urged believers to embrace prayer, particularly for the protection of the Pope, bishops, and priests, as they would be key figures in guiding humanity through the tribulations that lay ahead. But was this the end of the story? More than 4 decades later, when the world had almost forgotten the events of Akita, Sister Agnes Sasagawa found herself once again at the center of attention. After spending years in quiet devotion, far removed from the public eye, she received a new message in 2019, a message that would send ripples throughout the Catholic world. At a time when global tensions were rising, when moral and spiritual unrest seemed more evident than ever, another sign was given. It was a morning in October when a familiar presence returned. After years of silence, Sister Agnes once again encountered her guardian angel, who appeared before her with a message that echoed the urgency of the revelations she had received decades earlier. The angel's words were few, but carried immense weight. Cover yourself with ashes and pray a reparatory rosary every day. Be like a child and offer sacrifices daily. Though brief, these instructions sparked immediate reflection among those who heard them. When the message was shared through a Catholic radio station in Massachusetts, it sent shockwaves through religious circles, igniting discussions and prompting deep contemplation. Many saw it as a continuation of the call to repentance that had begun in 1973, now resurfacing at a time of global crisis. The symbolism behind the angel's words was unmistakable. The act of covering oneself with ashes is a powerful biblical symbol, representing repentance, mourning for sin, and a deep longing for divine mercy. Throughout history, it has been a physical gesture of humility and contrition, an outward sign of acknowledging human frailty before God. The call to be like a child reflects one of Christ's most fundamental teachings, a reminder to embrace purity, humility, and absolute trust in God. These qualities, as stated in Scripture, are essential for entering the kingdom of heaven. And then came the most urgent command to pray the reparatory rosary every day. This was not merely a suggestion, it was a direct plea for action. The rosary, long regarded as one of the most powerful spiritual weapons against darkness and evil, was once again being emphasized as the key to overcoming the struggles of the modern world. Whether it be war, moral decline, or disease, the rosary was presented as a shield of divine protection. The significance of Sister Agnes's 2019 revelation became even more profound when viewed in light of the events that followed. Not long after, the world was struck by a global pandemic, one that reshaped society in ways few could have anticipated. It was a time of widespread fear, uncertainty, and loss, a moment when humanity found itself more vulnerable than ever before. The call to prayer and repentance, given in the form of this urgent angelic message, seemed to arrive just in time, reminding the faithful that even in the face of great suffering, faith and devotion remain the strongest sources of hope. Could this message have been a final warning, a call to prepare for even greater trials ahead? Or was it a sign of divine mercy, urging the world to turn back to God before it was too late? The answers remain unknown. But one thing is certain: the events of Akita, both in 1973 and 2019, continue to captivate the minds and hearts of those who seek truth, faith, and the hand of the divine in an ever-changing world. As the world moves forward, the messages of Akita continue to echo, calling humanity to reflect deeply on its spiritual direction. Many have begun to ponder, were these warnings meant specifically for our time? While the Vatican has never issued a universal decree regarding the events of Our Lady of Akita, the formal recognition by Bishop John Shijiro Ito remains unchanged and holds legitimate authority within the Diocese of Niigata. This has allowed believers to embrace the messages and incorporate them into their faith and spiritual practices. Even without an official statement from Rome, the weight of these revelations has endured, continuing to guide those who look to them for spiritual direction and renewal. One of the most compelling aspects of the Akita messages is the call to personal sacrifice and prayer. The angel's instruction to Sister Agnes Sasagawa, urging people to offer daily sacrifices, highlights a crucial truth: each individual has a role to play in fostering peace, spiritual renewal, and inner transformation. These sacrifices do not necessarily require grand gestures or public acts of devotion. Instead, they can take the form of small personal sacrifices, acts of kindness, moments of self-discipline, and deeper prayer. The idea behind this message is simple yet profound: every person is capable of contributing to the healing of the world through love, humility, and unwavering faith. This is not just about prophecy, it is a call to action, encouraging people to step forward in faith before it is too late. For believers, the messages of Akita serve as both a warning and a beacon of hope, reminding them that no matter how challenging the times may become, there is always a path to redemption. But the real question remains: will the world listen before it is too late? The call for daily sacrifices holds a powerful message, one that is often overlooked in a world obsessed with grand achievements and public recognition. Society tends to glorify large-scale accomplishments, overlooking the quiet, unseen acts of love, kindness, and devotion that shape the soul. Yet, the messages of Akita emphasize that small, sincere acts of faith can be even more valuable than great, attention-grabbing gestures. Penance, self-discipline, and personal acts of love are fundamental to the Christian faith, yet they are often overshadowed by the pursuit of worldly success and recognition. Just like the original revelations from Akita, this renewed message has sparked a variety of responses. Some view it as a prophetic sign of the times, while others see it as a reminder to return to the core principles of faith, prayer, humility, and sacrifice. Regardless of interpretation, one thing is clear: the messages of Akita continue to resonate with believers and remain a topic of deep reflection within the Church. On July 6, 2024, a significant milestone was reached. It marked the 50th anniversary of the first apparitions in Akita messages that emphasized prayer, penance, and devotion. These revelations left a profound and lasting impact on the Catholic world, urging believers to embrace a deeper connection with their faith. However, what came next was even more shocking. In the months leading up to this anniversary, Sister Agnes Sasagawa, at the age of 93, once again became the focus of global attention. After living in quiet devotion for many years, away from the public eye, she received a new message, one that could not be ignored. Recognized for decades as the messenger of the divine revelations of Akita, Sister Sasagawa's latest prophecy carried a weight that demanded immediate attention. On the eve of the 50th anniversary of the apparitions, her guardian angel, who had remained silent for so long, returned with a new vision. At this time, the message was not just about spiritual renewal. It was a warning of global significance. Sister Agnes described a vision unlike any other she had received before. She spoke of unprecedented changes in the world, revealing that humanity stood at a crucial crossroads. Her vision included warnings about upcoming challenges, signs that would urge people to return to a path of faith, prayer, and humility. She emphasized that if the world chose to listen, many of these trials could be softened or even prevented. However, if humanity continued to ignore the call to conversion, then difficult times would unfold. The urgency of her message suggests that the world is at a defining moment, a time when personal choices and collective faith will determine the future. According to what was revealed to Sister Sasagawa, the decisions people make now will shape the coming years. Will humanity choose faith, repentance, and spiritual renewal, or will it continue down a path of indifference, leading to greater hardship? Sister Agnes described a world in need of deep reflection, where people must awaken spiritually either through peaceful renewal or through hard lessons that force them to change. Her prophecy has sparked a wave of responses, ranging from deep concern to skepticism. Some critics argue that such messages are unnecessary, while others believe that they serve as an urgent reminder of the need for faith and moral guidance in today's world. In response to her latest revelation, many believers have renewed their commitment to prayer and devotion. Across various communities, prayer vigils have been organized, with the rosary taking center stage as a source of strength and protection. Those who once questioned Sister Sasagawa's messages have now taken them more seriously, recognizing that her earlier prophecies have stood the test of time. This has led to a renewed sense of devotion and self-reflection, inspiring many to recommit themselves to their faith. The apparitions of Our Lady of Akita and the messages received by Sister Agnes Sasagawa have always carried profound warnings and calls for spiritual renewal. In today's world, these messages seem more relevant than ever. They emphasize the importance of prayer, repentance, and faithfulness, cautioning that spiritual neglect can lead to great challenges. Now, as the world faces increasing instability, many have begun to compare these prophecies to real-world events. Below are 10 themes from Akita that many believe are manifesting in today's society. The Virgin Mary's messages consistently emphasize the need for prayer and faith, urging people to seek a deeper connection with God. Many today feel a similar urgency to rediscover their spiritual roots. Throughout history, the Rosary has been seen as a powerful source of protection and strength. The messages of Akita highlight the Rosary as a key to spiritual resilience in difficult times. Acts of self-discipline, kindness, and prayer remain central to the messages of Akita. These small actions, though often overlooked, are essential in strengthening faith. The Virgin Mary urged believers to come together in faith. Today, we see a renewed interest in community prayer, spiritual retreats, and collective devotion. The messages of Akita warn against moral decline and emphasize the importance of seeking forgiveness and conversion. Many religious leaders today echo this same call. Despite the trials humanity may face, the messages remind believers that faith can overcome all challenges. As the world continues to change, the legacy of Akita endures, calling people to choose faith over fear, devotion over doubt, and love over indifference. For decades, many have reflected on the messages given at Akita, wondering whether they were meant specifically for our time. The call to deeper spiritual awareness, personal reflection, and unwavering faith continues to resonate, urging individuals to seek a greater purpose beyond material concerns. One of the core messages given was the importance of prayer, personal sacrifice, and spiritual renewal. It was revealed that small acts of devotion, prayers, kindness, and self-discipline could play a role in bringing peace and harmony to the world. Rather than focusing on grand gestures, believers were encouraged to embrace the power of simple, daily acts of faith that strengthen the soul and uplift those around them. Another key theme of the messages was the need to preserve spiritual values and remain steadfast in faith. Over time, many people have found themselves drifting away from practices that once brought them peace and purpose. The messages of Akita serve as a reminder that faith remains an unshakable source of guidance and strength, offering hope and clarity even in times of uncertainty. Additionally, the revelations warned of the importance of unity and strong moral foundations. They emphasize that communities thrive when built on principles of respect, compassion, and understanding. The encouragement to seek truth, live with integrity, and support one another has remained a cornerstone of these messages. More than anything, the central lesson of Akita is one of hope. The Virgin Mary's most urgent plea was for humanity to return to prayer, humility, and love, values that transcend generations and continue to inspire those who seek a deeper connection to their faith. It was revealed that through sincere devotion, positive change is always possible, and a renewed sense of purpose can be found. In recent years, there has been a noticeable resurgence of interest in faith and spirituality. More people are seeking meaning beyond the material world, looking for guidance and embracing prayer and reflection in their daily lives. This growing movement toward renewal shows that the call to strengthen faith is more relevant than ever. As discussions surrounding these messages continue, an important question arises. Can spiritual insights still hold relevance in a modern world shaped by reason and technology? While some may view such revelations as part of history, others believe they carry wisdom that transcends time. The contrast between analytical thinking and faith has long been debated, but the messages of Akita offer an invitation not just to reflect on the past, but to look inward and rediscover the power of spiritual connection. At its core, the message is not one of concern, but of transformation. It is a reminder that true fulfillment comes not from external achievements, but from cultivating inner peace, kindness, and devotion. Those who have spent their lives in prayer and reflection often remind us that the most profound truths are found in quiet moments of faith, rather than in the noise of the world. As time moves forward, many continue to contemplate these messages, some through prayer, others through discussion seeking to understand their deeper meaning. The ultimate question remains: are these messages a timeless call to renewal and faith? Could embracing these spiritual values create a more peaceful and compassionate world? The answer lies not in distant predictions, but in the choices individuals make each day. By embracing kindness, prayer, and self-reflection, the opportunity for positive change is always within reach. What sets Sister Agnes Sasagawa's message apart from past revelations is that it comes at a time when, despite advancements in technology and science, many people feel more disconnected, uncertain, and spiritually adrift than ever before. Faith, which once served as a guiding force in the lives of countless individuals, is often set aside in favor of self-reliance, material success, and shifting personal beliefs. The call to return to a life of deeper reflection, faith, and humility has never been more relevant. Among the key themes of the Akita messages was the idea that challenges could arise when faith and spiritual values are neglected. The revelations spoke of times when confusion would spread, when even those entrusted with guiding others in faith might face uncertainties. In today's world, where many discussions take place about spirituality, tradition, and belief, this message serves as a reminder that seeking truth, wisdom, and inner peace remains essential. At the same time, the messages were never meant to inspire fear, but hope. The Virgin Mary emphasized that through prayer, faith, and personal commitment, people could find strength and reassurance. Sister Agnes's latest message serves as both a reminder and a reflection. Will people take the opportunity to strengthen their faith and seek deeper meaning, or will distractions and doubts take priority? In a world where self-reliance, shifting values, and uncertainty have become widespread, many are searching for something greater. While science and technology have brought remarkable advancements, they have not replaced the timeless need for spiritual reflection and personal peace. The messages of Akita remind believers that faith is not about grand displays, but about simple, daily acts of devotion, kindness, and sincerity. One of the most striking aspects of Sister Agnes's recent revelation is its emphasis on personal responsibility. Unlike earlier messages that spoke broadly about faith, this new message focuses on individual action. It does not call upon institutions or leaders, it calls upon each person to look inward, reflect, and make a choice about their spiritual path. The instruction to cover yourself with ashes is deeply symbolic. Throughout history, this act has represented humility, reflection, and a sincere desire for renewal. In a time when self-sufficiency and pride often overshadow spiritual awareness, this message encourages people to embrace simplicity, acknowledge their need for guidance, and seek spiritual fulfillment with an open heart. The call to be like a child echoes a well-known biblical teaching. Truly, I tell you, unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Matthew 18:3. This is not a call to naivety, but rather an invitation to rediscover trust, humility, and openness to faith. In a world that often prioritizes skepticism and complexity, this message encourages people to embrace faith with sincerity, free from distractions or doubt. The Rosary, which has remained central to Sister Agnes's messages, is emphasized once again in this latest revelation. More than just a repetitive prayer, the Rosary is described as a source of strength, reflection, and peace. Throughout history, it has been seen as a means of deepening faith and maintaining spiritual focus during times of uncertainty. This renewed call to prayer serves as an encouragement to seek comfort in faith, rather than becoming overwhelmed by the challenges of daily life. One of the biggest questions raised by Sister Agnes's message is whether it is too late to embrace renewal and spiritual reflection. The answer, according to the messages of Akita, is no. There is always an opportunity to refocus, reconnect with faith, and seek deeper understanding. The Virgin Mary's messages have never been about fear, but rather about the power of free will, the ability to choose between a path of faith, kindness, and humility, or one of distraction and detachment. People are always given the choice to reflect, embrace faith, and strengthen their values. Throughout history, civilizations have evolved, societies have changed, and beliefs have been challenged, yet the core truths of faith, love, and inner peace remain constant. Many who reflect on Sister Agnes's latest revelation see it as a reminder that prayer, humility, and devotion are still as relevant today as they have ever been. As the world moves forward, many people continue to debate, reflect, and seek wisdom from these messages. Some view them as personal inspiration, while others see them as a universal call to rediscover faith. Regardless of interpretation, one thing remains clear: the message is about choice. Will people embrace faith, prayer, and reflection, or will they become caught up in the distractions of the modern world? The future is not defined by fear, but by the choices made each day. The call to renewal, kindness, and faith is always present. Will it be heard? At its heart, Sister Agnes Sasagawa's message is a call for personal transformation. The directive to engage in prayer, reflection, and small acts of devotion is not meant for a select few. It is an invitation to all who seek a deeper connection to faith. This is not a call for passive belief, but for active participation in spiritual renewal. For too long, the world has been consumed with external concerns, pursuing success, technological advancements, and material comforts, but Sister Agnes's message suggests that the true path to fulfillment is an internal one. It is a call to strengthen faith, cultivate humility, and embrace self-reflection. One of the most overlooked aspects of spiritual growth is the power of small, daily acts of devotion. While society often glorifies large achievements and visible success, true faith is nurtured through consistency, sincerity, and quiet dedication. Sister Agnes's message serves as a reminder that renewal does not require dramatic gestures, but rather a commitment to simple, meaningful practices, taking time for prayer before the day begins, showing kindness without seeking recognition, choosing humility in daily interactions, or setting aside distractions to focus on faith. These seemingly small actions, when done consistently and with sincerity, create a ripple effect that extends beyond the individual. When many embrace a renewed sense of faith and purpose, the world as a whole can experience transformation. Throughout history, similar messages have been given at times of great change, encouraging people to reflect, pray, and seek guidance. Moments of renewal have always been preceded by a call to return to faith, reminding humanity that true peace is found not in external accomplishments, but in spiritual wisdom and personal growth. One of the most consistent themes in Sister Agnes's messages is the call to prayer and deep reflection. Among these, the Rosary has been emphasized as a source of strength, guidance, and inner peace. Why is this prayer so significant? The Rosary is more than a series of repeated words. It serves as a way to focus the heart and mind on faith, wisdom, and devotion. Many who have turned to this practice find greater clarity, renewed strength, and a sense of peace in their daily lives. Sister Agnes's encouragement to dedicate time to spiritual reflection aligns with a broader truth. Prayer has the power to inspire, to uplift, and to bring individuals closer to their faith. It is a reminder that in a world full of distractions, setting aside time for reflection is more important than ever. In today's world, faith and reason are often seen as opposing forces. Yet Sister Agnes's message does not ask people to reject knowledge or progress. Instead, it poses an important question in the pursuit of advancement: has the world neglected the deeper, spiritual needs of the soul? While modern life has brought incredible convenience, many still seek meaning, purpose, and fulfillment beyond material success. Sister Agnes's message suggests that spiritual awareness is not outdated, but rather more relevant than ever, an essential part of understanding life beyond temporary achievements and fleeting distractions. The world today offers many paths, some leading toward material gain, others toward deeper self-discovery. Faith does not dismiss reason. Rather, it offers guidance and balance. The question remains: will people embrace this opportunity for reflection, or will they overlook it in the pursuit of temporary comforts? A question often raised when discussing spiritual messages is, has humanity already drifted too far from faith? The answer, according to the messages of Akita, is no. It is never too late for renewal, reflection, and transformation. However, the longer people wait to seek spiritual awareness, the harder it becomes to recognize the call to change. Throughout history, individuals and communities have rediscovered faith in times of uncertainty. The key to transformation has always been choice, the decision to turn back to faith, embrace kindness, and cultivate a life of spiritual purpose. The message of Sister Agnes Sasagawa serves as a reminder that every person has the ability to strengthen their faith, deepen their understanding, and build a life rooted in values that bring true fulfillment. For those who feel inspired by Sister Agnes's message, the next step is action. Here are ways that individuals can embrace this call to faith. Begin with personal prayer. Setting aside even a few minutes a day can create a lasting habit of spiritual connection. Commit to reflection. Taking time to pause, meditate, and seek deeper understanding strengthens the soul. Practice acts of kindness. Small gestures of generosity and compassion carry great spiritual value. Share the message. Many are unaware of the power of faith and prayer. Discussing these ideas can inspire others. Live with hope, not fear. The message is not meant to create worry, but to encourage people to strengthen their faith and seek meaning. The world stands at a crossroads, not one defined by external events, but one that challenges individuals to reflect on what truly matters. Sister Agnes's message is not simply about change. It is about returning to faith, embracing humility, and rediscovering what brings lasting peace. In a world often consumed by temporary distractions, this message serves as a call to look inward and seek deeper meaning. The greatest test of humanity is not about advancements, wealth, or power, but whether people can still recognize the importance of faith and spiritual wisdom. Many have already begun to reflect on the significance of these messages, understanding that true fulfillment comes not from external achievements, but from inner peace, kindness, and devotion. For decades after the apparitions of 1973, Sister Agnes Sasagawa lived in quiet reflection, devoting her life to prayer and contemplation. Many believed her story had come to a close, that her role as a messenger had been fulfilled. But in 2019, after years of silence, she received one final message. Unlike her earlier revelations, this message was direct and urgent. Instead of a vision of the distant future, it spoke of the present moment, emphasizing the need for immediate reflection and spiritual renewal. The angel's words were simple: cover yourself with ashes, pray a reparatory rosary daily, be like a child, offer sacrifices. Many who heard this message expected a complex prophecy, a detailed vision of the future. Instead, they received a call to simplicity, humility, and faith. Some dismissed it, waiting for a more elaborate revelation. Others, however, understood its true meaning. The world has already received its warnings. Now it must act. Sister Agnes's message is not about fear. It is about faith, renewal, and the opportunity to rediscover what truly matters. As time moves forward, the world watches and reflects. Some will dismiss these words as outdated or unnecessary, while others will see them as an invitation to reconnect with faith. The real question is not what the future holds, but whether people will take the opportunity to strengthen their beliefs, embrace kindness, and seek a deeper purpose. Sister Agnes has delivered her final message. Now, the decision rests with those who hear it. Will they open their hearts to faith and renewal, or will they wait until the opportunity has passed? The answer to that question lies not in predictions, but in the choices made every day. As the world enters 2025, many have begun to reflect on Sister Agnes Sasagawa's final message and whether its meaning is becoming clearer with time. For decades, her words have remained a subject of deep contemplation, a call to prayer, faith, and personal reflection. But as new challenges emerge, believers are asking, did her visions include insight into the events unfolding now? Although Sister Agnes never publicly declared a precise prophecy about 2025, many of the themes in her past revelations seem increasingly relevant. Her messages often spoke of spiritual transformation, the renewal of faith, and a growing urgency for personal reflection. Those who have studied her life believe that while she did not give an exact timeline, her warnings continue to unfold in ways that call for attention. One of the most compelling aspects of Sister Agnes's revelations was her emphasis on personal responsibility in times of great change. She did not speak of world events in terms of fear or inevitability, but rather in terms of choice and free will. Would people turn back to faith and spiritual values, or would they continue to drift further from them? As 2025 begins, the world is experiencing a shift in consciousness. More individuals are seeking a deeper understanding of faith, purpose, and inner peace. Many who once lived without spiritual awareness are now returning to prayer, reflection, and acts of kindness. But at the same time, there remains a sense of division, with many struggling to find their place in a world that feels increasingly complex. Sister Agnes's message for this moment is clear: renewal is possible, but it requires sincerity, humility, and action. Her past words spoke of a time when confusion would spread, when many would question the very foundations of truth. While technology and knowledge continue to advance, so does uncertainty, leaving many wondering, is there something more to life than what we see? Sister Agnes often emphasized the power of prayer as a way to bring clarity, peace, and renewal. In particular, she was called to pray the Rosary daily, a practice that has been described as a source of strength for those facing uncertainty. In 2025, this message takes on even greater significance. Many have found that turning to prayer has brought them unexpected peace, guidance, and reassurance. Sister Agnes's words remind believers that faith is not just a tradition or an obligation, but a source of deep spiritual fulfillment. In a world where many distractions pull people away from reflection, her message serves as a gentle reminder: setting aside time for faith is not about obligation, but about creating a foundation for inner strength. While Sister Agnes never gave an exact prophecy about specific world events in 2025, her messages have often been interpreted as timeless guidance that applies to moments of great transformation. One recurring theme in her revelations was the need for spiritual renewal before major shifts take place. Could 2025 be a year of great spiritual awakening? Many believe that her message encourages individuals to embrace faith now, rather than waiting for external circumstances to force them into reflection. Her past messages also spoke of a growing sense of division and confusion, especially in matters of faith. She warned that there would be a time when people struggled to distinguish truth from falsehood, a period when many would be misled by distractions, material pursuits, and doubt. Some have taken this as a call to stay rooted in faith, regardless of external influences. Others believe that her message serves as a warning to remain discerning and spiritually aware, rather than following popular opinions without deep reflection. In 2025, this message remains relevant. With countless voices offering competing ideas about purpose, success, and fulfillment, many feel uncertain about what to believe. Sister Agnes's guidance suggests that faith, prayer, and self-discipline offer clarity in times of confusion. One of the most important messages associated with Sister Agnes's revelations is that humanity is always given a choice between faith and doubt, love and division, reflection and distraction. As 2025 unfolds, many believe that this year presents a profound opportunity for spiritual renewal. Rather than focusing on external concerns, Sister Agnes's message encourages individuals to look inward, reflect on their personal journey, and strengthen their connection to faith. There are those who believe that 2025 could mark the beginning of a new era of deeper spiritual understanding, that more people will seek faith, kindness, and wisdom over material gain. Others see it as a year of transition, when individuals must decide whether to embrace spiritual principles or continue to live without reflection. Whatever the case, Sister Agnes's words remind us that the most important transformation begins within. 2025 is not a year to wait for answers. It is a year to seek them. Sister Agnes's message was never about grand displays of faith. It was always about small, meaningful acts that shape the soul over time. In 2025, her words are a reminder that daily acts of kindness, prayer, and personal reflection have the power to create long-term change. Rather than focusing on large-scale movements, her vision was a call for individuals to live with sincerity and integrity. She encouraged believers to dedicate time to daily prayer. Even a few minutes a day can bring clarity and peace. Show kindness without expectation. Acts of generosity and forgiveness can transform lives. Seek wisdom and understanding. Faith is strengthened through study, reflection, and practice. Choose faith over fear. Spiritual confidence brings strength in uncertain times. As 2025 continues, believers are reflecting on what Sister Agnes's message means for today's world. While some see her words as a warning about the consequences of neglecting faith, others see them as an opportunity to embrace a new path forward. If there is one thing her message has always made clear, it is that hope is never lost. There is always an opportunity to return to faith, seek renewal, and strengthen spiritual values. For those who have heard her call, 2025 is not a year of fear, but a year of choice. It is a time to embrace faith with sincerity, to seek deeper understanding, and to commit to a life of kindness, prayer, and wisdom. The future is always shaped by the actions of the present. And as Sister Agnes's message reminds us, the most meaningful change begins within. The question now is, will 2025 be a year of spiritual awakening? Will more people recognize the importance of faith, prayer, and reflection? Or will they continue to be distracted by the noise of the world? Only time will tell. But one thing remains certain. The opportunity for transformation is always available. The choice is ours to make. As the year 2025 unfolds, many find themselves reflecting on the profound messages of Sister Agnes Sasagawa and how they may hold significance in today's world. For decades, her revelations have urged humanity to embrace faith, humility, and prayer. But now, as more people begin searching for meaning beyond material success and worldly distractions, her message appears more relevant than ever. This year is not merely about waiting for events to unfold, but about making a conscious decision to pursue spiritual renewal. The question remains, will people embrace faith and reflection, or will they allow distractions to pull them further away from their spiritual journey? Sister Agnes's message was never about fear or uncertainty, but rather about preparing the soul for transformation. Her guidance encourages each individual to take responsibility for their faith, recognizing that personal devotion is far more powerful than external influences. As the year progresses, many have begun to recognize that true peace is not found in external comforts, but in spiritual grounding. In a world that constantly shifts, faith remains the one unshakable foundation that offers clarity, strength, and inner peace. One of Sister Agnes's most urgent calls was to dedicate time to prayer and reflection, reminding believers that the smallest acts of devotion can bring about immense spiritual change. So, how can one apply these messages in everyday life? Begin each day with prayer and gratitude. Taking even a few moments in the morning to pray helps set the tone for the entire day. Practice self-discipline and sacrifice. Whether it is fasting from distractions or offering acts of kindness without expectation, these small gestures strengthen the soul. Embrace humility and patience. Modern life often rewards ambition and competition, but Sister Agnes's message encourages people to find fulfillment in humility and quiet dedication. If 2025 is truly a year of spiritual awakening, then those who feel drawn to faith must recognize that their individual choices contribute to the greater spiritual atmosphere of the world. One of the most thought-provoking elements of Sister Agnes's revelations was her emphasis on clarity in times of confusion. She spoke of an era when many would question what is true, and where deception would make faith more difficult to maintain. In today's world, where information spreads quickly and differing perspectives often create division, her message serves as a timeless reminder that spiritual wisdom is found in faith, not in fleeting opinions. The year 2025 presents an opportunity for those seeking truth to turn inward, to seek wisdom through reflection and prayer rather than external validation. The distractions of modern life can easily pull people away from faith, but those who choose to remain steadfast in their beliefs will find renewed strength. Sister Agnes's message suggests that those who dedicate themselves to prayer, wisdom, and faithfulness will not be swayed by uncertainty. In times of confusion, faith is the anchor that holds firm. As the months go by, many are beginning to realize that personal growth does not come from external success alone, but from the inner work of self-discovery and faith. Could 2025 be the year that more people return to faith? Sister Agnes believed that spiritual transformation is not something that happens suddenly, but through daily commitment, prayer, and self-awareness. Those who begin seeking faith now are planting the seeds of future renewal. This transformation does not have to be dramatic or complex. It begins with small but meaningful choices. Prioritizing time for prayer each day, choosing kindness and humility over pride, reading and reflecting on spiritual teachings, encouraging others in their faith journeys. These actions, though seemingly simple, build a foundation that leads to profound inner change. While Sister Agnes often spoke of personal reflection, she also emphasized the importance of spiritual communities. Faith is not meant to be practiced in isolation. Believers are called to support one another, share wisdom, and uplift those who seek guidance. In 2025, this message carries even more weight. Many people today feel disconnected from traditional faith practices, yet there is a growing movement of individuals seeking connection through prayer groups, spiritual discussions, and shared acts of devotion. Could this year mark a revival of faith-based communities? For those seeking a stronger spiritual connection, joining a community of like-minded individuals can provide encouragement, accountability, and a sense of belonging. Sister Agnes's message encourages people to help others on their spiritual journey, as faith is strengthened through shared experience. One of the greatest struggles for many individuals is overcoming hesitation or doubt when it comes to faith. Sister Agnes never portrayed faith as something difficult or burdensome. Instead, she described it as a natural and fulfilling way to live. She encouraged people to approach faith with an open heart rather than skepticism. Trust in the process of spiritual growth, even when it feels uncertain. Let go of unnecessary worries, knowing that true peace comes from faith rather than external circumstances. Faith is not about knowing all the answers, but about embracing trust in something greater. As 2025 continues, Sister Agnes's message remains as relevant as ever. It is not a warning, but an invitation and opportunity for individuals to reflect on their spiritual journey and take action toward deeper faith. For those who have heard her message, the next steps are clear. Take time for prayer and gratitude each day. Embrace simplicity, humility, and acts of kindness. Surround yourself with those who inspire and uplift your faith. Choose reflection over distraction, wisdom over confusion. Every person has the ability to strengthen their faith and bring peace into their lives. The choice is not made once, but every day through small but meaningful actions. Above all, Sister Agnes's message is one of hope. She never spoke of faith as something distant or difficult, but as something that is always available to those who seek it. The invitation is open to all. 2025 can be a year of renewal, of strengthening faith, and of rediscovering what truly matters. The question now is, will those who hear this message take action, or will they wait until the opportunity has passed? Time moves forward, but the opportunity for spiritual growth remains ever present. The decision belongs to each individual, and the path forward is clear. Faith, reflection, and prayer will always lead to peace.